We can bring awareness into a situation with practice, bringing it into a situation as it is happening. And of course, there will be some situations that will lend themselves more easily to such practice, and others where it is unlikely to work unless we've become really skilled with the practice. So it's a good idea, if you're just starting on such a practice, to use it in situations that are a little less difficult, less close to the bone, things that are less personally threatening. Having said that, every situation is threatening to the personality or the ego. It's only a matter of degree where it is different. So, as a first attempt, let's just try it on the weather. Now, here's one possible scenario. We look out, we see the sky is covered with dark and gloomy clouds. We had plans to go to the beach, but that's looking unlikely now. At this point, we can pause and consider how we're feeling toward the weather. Are we annoyed? Disappointed? Of course, our rational mind will tell us, hey, it's just the weather. But on the level of our feelings, we know we're not feeling all that happy about the weather. In a subtle and indirect way, we may be feeling not so good towards it. I mean, if the weather were a person, we wouldn't be racing to go and give it a hug right now and say, you beautiful, gorgeous thing, would we? On the other hand, if the weather were to change and you suddenly got a brilliant spread of sapphire blue sky and fluffy white clouds, you'd run to give the weather a kiss, wouldn't you? A big fat one. So we can see that even with something as impersonal as the weather, we can have such different reactions to it, which affect us personally. I mean, people get depressed, in some parts of the world because the weather can have such an impact on them. Okay, so let's go to our practice. And taking this moment, and you can do this wherever you are, whatever the weather is like right now, ask this question. Is my response to the weather coming from a part of me that draws me closer to it? Or is it coming from a part of me that distances me from it? Now, what do I mean by being closer and being distant? When I'm closer, my response is coming from a peaceful, joyous, accepting, unconditional part of myself. This is my true nature. And that's how I will feel. I will feel peaceful and joyous and accepting. Unconditional. Or is my response coming from the memory bank of the ego, with all its demands, its expectations, history of disappointments, and so on? And here's why this is really important, because having this awareness places us in a position of true choice. I realize that this is where my response is coming from. This is the impact it has on me. And if the weather were a person, it would feel my response. If it's a happy response, it would feel it. It would feel the closeness and the love and the delight that I am feeling. And if it's not a happy response, it will feel that too. It will feel the distance, my withdrawing from it, the disapproval, the rejection, the unhappiness that I'm feeling. So knowing this, will I allow myself to respond from my true nature, so that rather than feel distance from the weather, I can be close and at peace with it? And then by simply giving yourself permission to respond from your true natural great peace and joy and love, it happens. There's no need to send loving thoughts, no need to take any particular action, just consciously choosing and allowing your response to come from your true nature. It happens. Now, if you're guided to do something, who knows, perhaps send it a text saying you're awesome, or hey, you are the coolest thing around, or invite it over for dinner, by all means, go ahead and do that. Just don't assume that you have to do anything more. Just allow yourself to be guided. Now, can you see how this might be helpful in a situation that is a bit more personal, with someone whom you have a closer relationship with? Say a good friend or a colleague, or a partner or a parent or a child. So let me just summarize what the steps involved. So the practice is, number 1, become aware of how you're feeling. Number 2, ask, where's this feeling coming from? Is it from my natural, peaceful, joyous, loving, unconditional nature? Or is it coming from my ego and its memory bank filled with a history of, I don't know, expectations, disappointments, anger, fear, resentment? Then number 3, ask this question, is it drawing me closer to this person or pushing me further away? Number 4, will I allow myself to respond from my true nature, that is peaceful and joyous and loving, so that I can myself feel peaceful, joyous and loving? And lastly, number 5, okay, I give myself permission to respond from my true nature. Now really feel yourself giving that permission. Feel it. You'll sense great relief. You'll sense great spaciousness. You can breathe more easily again. You might even smile. You know, we think that someone or something is causing our grief, but in fact, it is our response to someone or something that is causing our grief. The pain that we feel, the discomfort, that's the result of blocking our true nature. That's what we're really feeling, the resistance we have placed in the path of our natural great peace. It's our natural state. Peace, joy, love, limitlessness, and all those wonderfully good things.